our bold predictions for UFC in the rest of 2024. Now, I don't know about you, Dylan, but I have some takes that not everyone is going to agree with.
All I'm going to say is I cooked, and I am so ready for your reaction to my takes.
I'm excited. Now, at the end of the year, we're going to be recapping and reacting to this video. So make sure you're subscribed because I have a feeling some of these are going to come true.
I'm going 5 for 5.
5 for 5 on picks today.
5.
So we've each picked out 5 bold predictions. These predictions could be fights that are going to happen, new champions, or Tony Ferguson level fall offs. And neither of us have seen what the other has written down. So let's get into it. Dylan, what do you have first?
So my first prediction is something that I've been talking about for like the past 6 months. And it's that I believe Demetrius Johnson is going to return at the end of the year to fight Pantoja for the flyweight championship. Lucas knows that this is I'm on the DJ bandwagon, and I totally think that he's going to fight Pantoja.
It would be insane if DJ came back. I don't know if he has fights left on his one championship contract, but if the UFC signs some sort of deal, legendary.
It's what they need. That brings back a name to flyweight, and it works out good because you either have DJ as your champion or you have Pantoja beating DJ, solidifying himself as a generational flyweight, beating the flyweight GOAT. I think it's a great outcome for the UFC, and I think DJ is the most important person that Dana White could bring back to the UFC right now to help out a division.
For my pick, I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with all these takes. It's just something that I think could happen, and it is bold. Topuria loses the belt to Max. Then we get a 4th fight between Volk and Max, and Max wins on his 4th time.
Well, I like that, and I believe that that's going to come true.
Finish the story.
It would be such an arc for Max, just down, and then the rebuild of him being he's always been a striker, but finally has that KO power.
And you think about back to his earlier career where he went 3-3 in his first 6 fights in the UFC, and then he finally started to come into his own, became the featherweight champ, had title defenses. You think that's his prime? And then he gets beaten 3 times by Volkanovski, and you're kind of he's the gatekeeper now. He's like the Robert Whittaker. But now, beating Justin Gaethje in a weight class up, coming back to fight a new champion. I'm so excited for UFC 308.
It's going to be electric, and I cannot wait to see Max Holloway beat Ilia Topuria. Speaking of Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria, it is going to be an absolute war and will be the undeniable fight of the year and a top 5 UFC fight of all time.
That's, I was worried because I thought it wasn't going to be a bold prediction, just Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway have a war, but top 5 fight of all time in the UFC, that is a bold prediction.
I think 500 plus significant strikes. Yeah, it's going to be electric. There's going to be so much blood.
Yeah.
Imagine it's just a stinker.
My
heart would be crushed.
Cat versus Makayev.
It would hurt me if it was a stinker. But I think that's probably my tamest prediction, but I don't know. I just think that fight is going to be such a war, and I think it's going to be an amazing fight.
Okay, so my second prediction, I have kind of some predictions that are tied into each other. They're kind of similar. They depend on each other almost. So it's like a parlay. Okay, so my second one is that Pereira announces a move to heavyweight after John Jones and Stipe fight. No matter the outcome of Jones versus Stipe, doesn't matter if they both retire, doesn't matter if Jones stays in the division. I think Pereira announces a move to heavyweight.
Oh, that's just such a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm passionate about how I don't want Pereira to move up or down, just because I think that moving down is a mistake. He has nothing to gain from that, and a move up to heavyweight, I think Tom beats him. I don't think he can get up to size, but I do think that there's a real possibility that it happens, especially if the Roundtree fight is not even close. What else is there for William to do?
Just Ankalaev.
Yeah.
But I think he beats. Ooh, speaking of that, did you hear the news just announced today? Pereira posted a YouTube video and said that Ankalaev is the one who didn't want to fight him.
I said that last week.
Do you think it's true?
I believe it. I don't see why Pereira wouldn't want to fight him.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if he gains much about lying about that.
Yeah.
You know? Like he could have just kept quiet.
Or he could have just said that Dana didn't want it.
Okay, what's your third bold prediction?
UFC 306 will be the worst pay-per-view of the year, and Dana will try to push the quality of production to make up for the lackluster card.
I think that's very likely to happen.
Yeah, like coming soon, we're going to rebuild that card. But right now, when I was going over it, I was just like, who?
Yeah.
Who?
The bottom four fighters on the card.
If you're going to market something as the biggest mixed martial arts event of all time and then have to a casual viewing audience 3 fights that people know the names of people, like what are you doing? Like this event is where you're going to get the casuals to come in and watch and then try to sell them for life on this whole UFC thing. And you put out a stinker card. Like this is another, like, it's not like a crazy bold prediction.
Yeah, I feel like we could do a whole video talking about the 306 Sphere card.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Okay, so my third bold prediction is Leon Edwards loses for a second time this year against a top contender. So he goes from beating Kamaru Usman twice and Colby Covington to losing the belt plus losing again to a contender.
That is so tough because I think it depends who he fights. Because he just looked terrible. He looked awful in that last fight against Bilal. But like, is he actually that good, or is he just he had one head kick that makes everyone think he's better? I think it depends. If he fights Ian Gary, I think that's a little bit of a 50-50 fight. But if he fights JDM, I'm going JDM all day.
Same.
JDM is like the future, and Leon Edwards is on the way down. So I think that's a pretty good take there.
Yeah, it definitely depends on who he fights next. Because I think, to be honest, Ian Gary, I think Leon can, not easily, but he could point strike and win a 47, or a 49-46 decision.
My next take is a little bit crazy, and reading it back, I don't even know if I believe in it. But Dana announces Arman will fight either McGregor or Chandler for the interim lightweight championship at the 306 press conference.
It's the worst take I've ever heard. That's so bad. Yeah.
But it's so Dana. Because imagine in a world where Arman fights McGregor and McGregor somehow wins, then you have Islam versus McGregor.
I get that you love to do this like thing in your head where you imagine like the best fight ever possible happening.
It's sports.
Yeah. No, okay. I heard someone saying Arman, if there was an interim title, Arman could fight Dan Hooker, and I thought that was the stupidest take
That's
ever.
Terrible.
No, but your take is even dumber.
Whoa, bro. Whoa.
McGregor hasn't beaten anyone in forever, so I don't know. For me, that's
bold
too far.
predictions, Mr. Tame Predictions.
Okay. You had 308's gonna be a war. Yeah, no kidding.
I said top 5 fight of all time.
I know. Okay, so my fourth bold prediction, like I was saying, this one kind of ties back into something I already said. John Jones doesn't retire at MSG, but instead pulls a Tony Ferguson. If you were there at Tony Ferguson's last fight against Michael Chiesa, he put one glove down in the octagon and said, I might be back, I might not. And I feel like John Jones, he's in the same boat where like he genuinely could fight and keep fighting and perform at a high level. But at the same time, maybe it is just time for him to retire. So I feel like he's kind of torn. He wants to fight Tom, but at the same time, he doesn't feel like it does enough for his legacy. And there is a pretty big risk of him losing that fight. So I think he's in kind of like two mindsets, not sure what to do. So he'll say, I might be back. He won't make an official retirement statement.
I think the thing with John Jones is that he's already the GOAT. If he was like the third or second and then went and fought Tom Aspinall and won that, like it really helps his GOAT case, but he's already the GOAT. He really has nothing to gain, and he's got a whole lot to lose after the Stipe fight. And I do like the idea of leaving one glove there, but would he ever fight again? Let's get DC back in the ring. That's my final. No, I'm just kidding.
John Jones is closer. I saw the stat. This might be completely wrong. I saw this on Twitter. John Jones is closer in age to Tom Aspinall than he is to DC. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that could be completely wrong. Okay, what is your fifth and final prediction.
This is my favorite bold prediction.
Okay.
Max Holloway wins the featherweight belt against Ilia Topuria at 308. He then relinquishes the BMF belt, and then at UFC 309, Dustin Poirier fights Justin Gaethje for the BMF title, and both guys retire after the fight.
Dude, your predictions are like they just ramp up and keep going. Mine are like one thing happens.
I'm setting parlays. But think about how I like to tell stories with my predictions, but think about how cool that would be if that came true. Like every UFC fan is just like happy for life. You know, it makes up for Tony Ferguson's downfall.
Do you want to hear my fifth and final prediction?
Let's hear your fifth and final prediction.
Dana creates a new BMF belt after Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria fight, because you don't want to have the featherweight champion also holding the BMF, because that just completely ruins the belt. So I think Max wins at 308, and so he technically has the BMF belt and the featherweight belt, and Dana or Max, whoever's decision it is, they say, we want this to continue, and so they bring it up to a different division.
I think that we basically have the same take there. I think we should shake hands. Same wavelength here. Dude, yeah. I think that that's the only way to go. Like, Max isn't going to hold the BMF. He's going to take some pictures with the BMF belt and the featherweight title, but there's no point of him holding it, because that defeats the purpose of the BMF belt.
What division should they move it to?
Welterweight.
That's what I was going to say.
Because then you can move up to lightweight and middleweight, you know? And I think that those are like three divisions that are super deep, you know? Like, imagine like we have... Who would I want to see? Like, who's a BMF in welterweight?
I mean, Shavkat, because he's finished everyone.
But he's gonna win the belt. He's gonna be the welterweight champ. Like, imagine like a JDM versus like a Whitaker for the BMF belt.
That'd be sick.
That would be electric.
Well, that would have to be... I don't think Whitaker can make it down to 170.
Well, JDM will go up because he's a BMF.
Okay, well, I think that's all of our bold predictions. Like I said, we're going to be doing a video at the end of the year, so make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
See ya.